Hey guys, this is the paint that I have used for painting my Sprinter, and as you could tell I have some mineral spirits here as well. This is actually used for mixing along with the aluminum paint, but in this type of paint job I didn't actually mix anything. I just basically painted straight using Rust-Oleum aluminum without mixing it, so that came out fine. Now I did add a little bit of mineral spirits to this rusty metal primer, which hopefully it does what it says, rusty metal primer. So maybe it's supposed to prevent any kind of rust from happening. Hopefully both of these paints do. I do recommend, if you're gonna mix it, just mix it with mineral spirits. It's pretty good. Here's another thing that I have used. I used Bondo hair type of Bondo here, and this is like a really hairy type of stuff. It's really hard to work with, but it bonds real strong. I actually could not use a ball of it, and I just made it into like a ball and had it dry up. I actually want to test how strong it is, maybe like with a hammer or something. I did buy like some other stuff. I have like fiberglass resin here. This is for actually doing the actual fiberglass job. So I didn't get a chance to do it because in this application just wasn't necessary. It was just going to be like extra steps that I didn't want to really take. But anyways guys, it's just on my shelf in the garage here. Let me show you the gun. This is one of the guns. This is from the same type of box that I've used the other one with. Basically, I bought a kit. Oh yeah, here's a name. Well, it's really not much of a name. HVLP, that's just a standard really. Max 20 psi. So with this type of gun, it's actually made like this particular one. It's actually made for like automotive paints, and it's a 1.4 type of opening. Last time I actually tried using this to paint my black van. As you can see, there's some black paint, and guys, it was barely spraying anything. And this is after I have mixed it with mineral spirits to the appropriate type of mixtures that it recommends. So it was really hard to spray with this one. So I maybe ruined it, or probably, you know, because I cleaned it up really good, but it just doesn't spray anymore. So maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm gonna have to do like a little bit more cleanup. But I've used another gun just like this from the same type of kit, and that one is a 1.7, and that 1.7 is actually, it's made more for like primers and stuff. So, you know, if it's good for primer, then obviously it's going to be good for paint. You know, this is why I didn't mix it, because this is the way my logic works. I kind of thought about, hey, it's going to be putting out a little bit more than it's supposed to, like in paint. If I mix the paint, most likely I'm going to create runs. And, you know, that's why I didn't use it. And, you know, that's why I didn't mix it, excuse me. That's why I didn't mix it. But I did use it, and it sprayed really fine. However, these guns here, they're very cheap. I paid like $100 for a kit of 3 of these guns. I have like another like very small like type of gun that came. I think it's for really fine type of jobs, you know. But sorry, there's like no brand name, but I'll tell you where I got it. I picked this up at CarQuest. One of their shop, you know, one of their places where they sell like paints, and they sell primers and tape and all this other good kind of stuff. That's who sold it, and it was just $100 for 3 guns, which I didn't think it was a bad deal at all. So, you know, there you have it. It's just a very cheap gun. I think any $100 gun you're gonna pick up, you're gonna experience the same type of stuff. I'm not gonna tell you it's any good. I don't think it's not, but I'll tell you what some other paint guys told me. They've used sometimes like SATA guns, and those are like $700 guns, some of them more or less. And they told me they're using a $100 gun, and they're getting kind of like the same performance. And what they said is it's all happens to be like because of the needle. That's what they call it, like at least in Russian. If that's still good, then you're gonna get like pretty good performance. But after a certain amount of sprays, that needle's gonna wear out, and you know, basically it's just not gonna spray as good. So, you know, Who knows if that information is true, but it sounds pretty logical. And so they said it's cheaper for them to just pick up a $100 gun and you know, do some spray jobs. Once they see the gun is not performing, they just pick up another $100 gun and just, you know, use that one. I don't know, maybe like for primer or something, and you know, that kind of thing. So that's why. So but anyways, if you're gonna be spraying a really expensive car, you know, we're talking like some nice kind of car, you know, some kind of like nice Mercedes or something. You know, something that it's costing you a lot of money in paint, because some of the paint, guys, it costs like $250 a quart to try to spray it. So you're gonna mess that one up. It's gonna cost you a lot, like in paint. Like this stuff is like 26 bucks. I mean, are you really gonna use a really expensive gun for this? I don't think so. You're not gonna be trying to stuff it up. This is a oil-based type of paint here, which is it's still meant for metal. You know, it can be sprayed obviously, and it's just not the paint that normally people would use in the automotive industry. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually used to work for a paint company that painted cars and stuff, and you know, I looked at what they used, and they don't use this kind of stuff. I mean, they use like acrylic enamel, and they use some base coat, clear coats, but I never seen them use any kind of oil-based type of products. Because this stuff is like right off the shelf. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you would buy. Maybe you want to paint a forklift. I mean, they're powder coated, but let's say you got a forklift, you just want to paint it orange or green or yellow, whatever. They have these colors, and they have more. So you could just use the stuff to paint some kind of like commercial equipment, like a trailer. You could paint like a commercial tractor, or even like a regular type of tractor, or like a lawnmower or something. And it's metal, and it's going to protect it from rust. And the way I see it, guys, I have owned Mercedes Sprinters for a long time, since 2007, basically. And I have noticed they rust, and you guys probably seen it too. And for me to see Rust-Oleum in the same sentence as it being an actual paint and I could spray it, I mean, just seems like a good idea. It's cheap. It looks like it's supposed to protect it from rust. Other paints, they don't do that. So based on me repainting my Sprinters before, I have tried painting acrylic enamel and stuff like that, and you know, some other ones, and still after a couple years you're gonna have rust show up in different spots, because we take these Sprinters up north and stuff like that. So even with acrylic enamel, I used to buy it for like $100 a gallon, and once I actually you know, use up that gallon, of course I have to buy a reducer and a hardener for that paint and stuff like that, and that still cost me close to 200 bucks when all said and done. I mean, not including other materials and stuff, but it's still gonna be like a $200 paint job, just in paint and, you know, the little supplies and stuff that you need for it, because that stuff is not cheap. I mean, just like a can of reducer, I mean, like a gallon of it now, it's probably like 50 bucks. And I mean, now they're asking for like a gallon of basically let's see, acrylic enamel, 1 gallon. It's like 180 bucks last time I checked. So it's not very cheap now. So basically you'll paint it with that. You'll have to still repaint it at some point, and plus that paint, like after a year, it's kind of like fading out and stuff. So I mean, I guess you get what you paid for. At least with this stuff, guys, 26 bucks. If it fades out, it fades out. You know, who cares, you know? Now, I tried flat black with this, and it still looks flat black. I have people give me a lot of compliments about it. I mean, I'm kind of tired of the flat black look already, because I look at it every single day. But the flat black, and you can see that can over there. I have like a bunch of these cans. Like, I always buy like at least like 4 cans of the stuff at a time. So the flat black stuff, it's just, you can't really see dust on it, because dust is kind of flat and flat black paint, so you don't have to like wash it as often. But I know silver is going to be the same way, and this is aluminum here, and it's, you know, I'm gonna actually show it to you guys what it looks like in this video, in case you haven't seen in one of my other videos what it looks like. So I guess stay tuned for that. But I think it looks incredible. I think it looks just like a silver paint job. For me, it kind of reminds a little bit of the that one, basically like chrome type of paint, you know. So it looks kind of pretty cool, you know. I mean, if you're gonna finish off a car, like really nicely and stuff like that, and you paint it with this silver, I mean, it's gonna look good. You know, I don't think it's gonna look bad. It's just, if you get a really expensive car and you paint it with this stuff, you might not feel so good about it because it's real cheap. When I used to pretty much be like, I don't know, like a teenager, I guess. I started painting cars when I was like 18 years old. And basically I would go to a shop, and every time they ask me, what kind of stuff do you want? You want the good stuff? You want the cheap stuff? And I'm like, I want the good stuff. Well, heck, I was paying $250 a quart for the paint. So, you know, of course I was painting my like Audis and stuff that I owned and stuff like that, and I wanted them to look good. I would never even consider painting my cars using something out of like Home Depot or something, you know, some kind of like Rust-Oleum. And you know, it just seemed like, I mean, I didn't even know this, but if I would know at that time, I would not think it's that professional. I'd probably think it's crap, you know. And maybe it is in a lot of ways, but who knows. I do like it now, and you know, I guess it's going to be everybody's preference. You know, the good thing about it, it's cheap. You mess it up, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to try to spray it. Oh yeah, guys, by the way, to spray the whole van, I just used 1 gallon unmixed. 1 gallon. I actually had just like a little bit left over. I probably had like a pint of it left over. So that's for the roof, that's for everything. And I actually put like, you know, when I go like through the van, I always put like at least 3 layers. I don't want to say like 3 coats because that's kind of like normal for me. I'm like, when I'm painting something, I want to make sure I have good coverage. So when I go with my hand about 3 times, that's generally pretty good coverage. So I go through it like that, and then I went again and I did the same thing all over the car. So that was plenty of paint for me. Even with the gun with a 1.7 nozzle, I mean, it's spraying obviously a lot of it. So that's not a very expensive paint job, guys. So I call it $50, but that's because you will pick up yourself some mineral spirits. That's going to cost you about 15-20 bucks, and you might pick up some sandpaper. So it's going to cost you about 50 bucks for the supplies, you know, which is not bad. So anyways, guys, let me show you this video of my silver Sprinter. That way you could actually see what it looks like on the vehicle. So if it's right for you, or maybe it's not right for you. So I hope you liked this little video, and I actually made it because one of my viewers actually asked me to make this type of video. So you could see what kind of gun I use, what kind of paint I use, that kind of thing. So there you have it, guys. Take care. As I promised, this is the silver paint I told you about. This is the aluminum paint from Rust-Oleum. Now, if somebody asked me, they said, you know, what kind of paint is this? I would probably have to guess it's acrylic enamel. It doesn't look like base coat, clear coat. It's got this regular type of texture. It's not like that shining and stuff. It's just kind of like, it really does look like an aluminum type of finish. This is probably why it's called aluminum. It's got the same type of shininess as aluminum, you know. So, but a lot of times acrylic enamel, it will be actually looking similar to this. It doesn't have like much shine to it. So sometimes that kind of looks ugly if there's no shine, but this actually looks a lot like kind of like a flat silver type of paint that you would find in a lot of like expensive cars nowadays, because flat is becoming more popular now without the shine. So it does look like one of those paint jobs where it's a flat silver type of finish. So if you're trying to achieve that type of a finish, you can with this paint. It's probably even gonna look good on a really nice car, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's not a bad paint. I really like it. Probably gonna paint all my other sprinters with this. Might actually attempt, if I have to repaint one of the actual cars that I'll own, I'll probably attempt at actually painting it like with this type of color, just to see what it's gonna look like on a car. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching my videos. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you like the videos, and I'll keep more coming. I know, like, right now I've been kind of slow like at putting out videos and stuff. By slow I mean like I used to put them out like every single day. Now I just don't do it every single day. I just do them basically like sometimes once a week, sometimes twice a week, that kind of thing. I'm trying to put out a little bit more kind of like relevant content as much as possible. You know, so if I'm doing something like this, you know, I want to show to you guys. I mean, I always am doing something. So I like to share kind of like what I do, and maybe you guys could get some ideas, and maybe you guys could give me some ideas. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.